Hi everybody, welcome to an Election Day edition of Blunation. That is, unless you're watching this later, then it's just whenever. Anyway, I'm your host Noah Schwartz, and it's time to recap all of this week's biggest sports headlines. Let's get started. The Blue Gold softball team was scheduled to play a doubleheader this weekend against Central College, but thanks to Wisconsin's famously amenable spring weather, the games were postponed. Instead, we begin tonight with the Blue Gold baseball team, who had a weekend they'd probably rather forget, as they faced off against WIAC rival UW Stout. On Saturday, the Blue Golds came out to an early 2-0 lead in the first game, but it was all downhill from there as Stout came back to win 11-6. In the first inning of the second game, the Blue Golds took a 1-0 lead. Then, in the bottom half of the inning, Stout scored 6 runs and went on to walk away with the game, beating the Blue Golds 16-3. Eau Claire was able to keep things closer on Sunday in the first game. The Blue Golds just lost by 3-0. And in the second game, the team's bats finally awoke. Freshman infielder Drew Salyers hit his first collegiate homer, but it still wasn't enough as the Blue Golds lost a heartbreaker 13-10. The 4 losses this past weekend dropped the team's record down to 6-10. They'll be back in action on Saturday for another pair of doubleheaders, this time at home against UW-Whitewater. On to the NFL now, where Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder has become embroiled in yet another scandal. The House Oversight Committee, who was busy investigating Snyder for a number of sexual harassment allegations, has reportedly turned their attention to the team's finances. Teams are required to turn over 40% of ticket revenue to the NFL, which is then dispersed as part of the league's revenue sharing program. Information has been given to Congress alleging that the team didn't fork over the full 40%. Some reports indicate that the team may have even kept 2 separate sets of books. While the NFL has not publicly addressed the report, the Commanders have released a statement denying everything and calling the report, quote, perjury. We expect to bring you more next week as this story develops further. Switching gears now, the University of Kansas Jayhawks have won the 2022 NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship after beating the University of North Carolina Tar Heels 72-69. The underdog Jayhawks overcame a 16-point deficit in exciting fashion to complete the largest comeback in the history of the championship game. Kansas took the lead with 1 minute and 21 seconds left to play and then held strong on defense, forcing UNC to miss three-point attempts on 3 consecutive possessions. We congratulate the team on a job well done. Elsewhere in college basketball, Duke University's head coach Mike Krzyzewski has retired. Coach K spent 42 of his 47 seasons at Duke, amassing 1,129 wins during that time, the most by any college basketball coach at any level. Krzyzewski also won 5 national championships and was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2001. Duke has named former Blue Devil John Shire as Krzyzewski's replacement. And lastly, big news broke this morning ahead of one of the biggest sporting events of the year. Golf legend Tiger Woods has announced that he expects to play in this weekend's Masters tournament in Augusta, Georgia. The 46-year-old Woods has won the Masters 5 times, most recently in 2019. Woods was never expected to golf again after a February 2021 car accident left him with compound fractures in both of his legs. If Woods wins this weekend, he would tie Jack Nicklaus with a record 6th green jacket. That does it for this week's headlines. Now we welcome in TV 10's programming director John Franklin with a preview of this year's Frozen 4. John?
Hey, how are you doing, Noah?
Good, how are you, John?
I'm doing great. So, coming up on Thursday and Saturday this week, we have the NCAA Ice Hockey Championships, more commonly known as the Frozen 4. Held in the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, we will get to see Denver, Minnesota State, and Minnesota State Mankato duke it out on the ice and on our television screens for the national championship. Let's start out with the #1 ranked Michigan Wolverines. They have a powerful roster, including the first pick of last year's NHL draft, Owen Power. He competed for Canada in the World Juniors and in the Olympics. Power decided not to go straight to the NHL, where he would be playing for some obscure team in South Canada, but instead decided to play one more year for the Wolverines. Another great thing about Michigan is that they have 3 more of last year's top 5 picks. Their roster includes number 2 pick Matty Berniers of the Seattle Kraken, number 4 pick Luke Hughes of the New Jersey Devils, and the number 5 pick Kent Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets. In net, they have yet another prospect, with Buffalo's Eric Portillo having a .926 save percentage. They have NHL caliber players who can lead their team to the national championship. They'll be playing the Denver Pioneers on Thursday. The Pioneers have a shot at beating the Wolverines, as they have the highest goals per game average in Division I hockey this year. Their top line is all prospects, with Hobie hat-trick finalist Bobby Drink of the Flyers, Cole Gutman of the Lightning, and Carter Savary of the Oilers. Despite the power of their top line, they do have one notable chink in their armor. Their goaltending has been inconsistent all year. Although goalie Magnus Trona, who is a prospect for the Lightning, has held opponents to 2 or less goals over his last 6 games. In the late game, we have the Battle of Minnesota. The University of Minnesota Golden Gophers will face off against the Minnesota State University Mankato Mavericks. The Golden Gophers have been unsurprisingly one of the best teams in the country this year, and they are the Big Ten regular season championships. They have phenomenal seniors on their squad, including Kings prospect Brock Faber, but their junior class has been impressing everybody and stepping up whenever they can. Some people include undrafted captain and Hobie hat-trick finalists Ben Myers, Buffalo prospect Ryan Johnson, and Ducks prospect Jackson Lacombe, along with goalie Justin Close. Minnesota, who's coming out of a shutout against Western Michigan, has a chance to win their 6th national championship, and with their great mix of size, skill, and speed. The final team, the Minnesota State Mavericks, has the best record in the NCAA, with 37 wins and 5 losses. With their last loss coming on January 14th, they have won 17 straight games. The Mavericks have won with less star power than the other 3 contenders. The Mankato campus is top 10 in save percentage, goals against per game, power play percentage, shooting percentage, goals per game, and an impressive 19 shots against per game. However, they do have an NCAA grade on their team in the form of goalie and Hobie hat-trick finalist Dryden Mckay. He holds records for most wins and shutouts in his college career, with 117 and 34 respectively. He has a .932 save percentage in 138 NCAA appearances and owns a .735 winning percentage as the 4-year starter for the Mavericks. Their style of play is close to one of an NHL team, as they fight for every free inch of the ice. As for my predictions, as for everybody's predictions, it seems that Michigan versus the winner of the Gophers-Mavericks game will be the championship. I agree with that, as I believe that the Pioneers will fall to the Wolverines 5-3. But the late game will be an all-time classic with a low score and plenty of highlight reel chances. But the Mavericks will defeat the Golden Gophers by a thin score of 3-2. In the championship game, there will be a close, hard, and fierce game played by both teams, but unfortunately there can only be one winner, and the Minnesota State Mavericks will win their first title in history. Thank you very much, Noah.
Thank you, John. Great report. Well, after a long off-season of uncertainty amid the lockout, Major League Baseball is finally coming back. Major League Baseball is back, I should say. Opening day is just 2 days away, and brother, I can already smell the peanuts and Cracker Jack. However, before any games are played, we thought we should try and do our best and pick the division winners. Joining us now is the host of TV10's game show and sports team member, Justin Narveson. Justin, great to have you back. How are you, man?
Yeah, great to be back. I mean, so excited for this. Got 2 days left, and then I'm just sitting here waiting now.
I know. MLB The Show, the new edition 22 came out today, I believe.
Yeah, it was today, and I've yet to get on it. I gotta get on that some point here.
Yeah, I've got it preloaded from my Game Pass.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, this guy's got a PlayStation. He wouldn't know anything about that. Anyway, Let's start things off with the NL West. Justin, who you got?
I mean, it's going to be the Dodgers, all right. I mean, the addition of Freddie Freeman on top of what they already have, it's not going to be close. I don't think the Giants can do what they did last year to barely sneak away with it, especially with that addition of Freddie Freeman, which I don't know where they get money from these days anymore. All those LA teams just having infinite money, it seems like. But yeah, the Dodgers should easily run away with this one as long as no crazy injuries happen.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I do think that division's a very close division, with the Giants and Padres both being huge contenders last year. But I don't really see the Giants as being that close as they were last year, and the Padres have been riddled with injuries. Tatis is probably going to start the season, easy for me to say, on the 60-day injured list. So it's really the Dodgers' division to lose.
Yeah, I really don't think it's going to be close between all of them. I mean, I think it's going to be a battle for second between the Dodgers and Giants and Padres, and then everyone else behind them is going to be running behind. So
yeah,
I think they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot.
Absolutely. Now in the NL Central, it's the division that we probably care most about, and I think this one is the most cut and dry out of the 6 divisions in the majors. I think that the Brewers, it's really not even close. What about you?
Yeah, especially with the Cardinals offloading this season, putting Castellanos and Suarez off to the Castellanos, has he signed anywhere yet?
No, he's still rehabbing his injury.
Gotcha. Suarez and their other outfielder, the other MVP candidate.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, I can't. Name's just slipping right now off to the Mariners. They really offload this season. I don't think they have potential. I mean, they do have Rookie of the Year Jonathan India, but other than that, there's really nothing to like about that Reds team who was trying to come in there. And then the Cardinals, pitching.
Yeah.
They don't have a single pitcher that can really do what the Brewers can.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, this one's clear-cut dry. It should be the Brewers running away with it for another NL Central title.
Absolutely. The Brewers, I mean, they're supposed to be one of the top 5 teams in baseball. I'm really not sold. I wouldn't value them that high, but there's nobody in the Central who can beat them.
But you have to take into account the resurgence of Yelich hopefully coming up with new hitting instructors.
Hopefully.
Yeah, knock on wood. And then here, obviously, making strides in spring trading, that adds another bat that can DH for you, especially with this universal DH. The more offense you can get, the better. And the Brewers are set up for run prevention as well, so if they can get those sparks of offense here and there, I think they should be really, really good and should be up there with the top 5.
Absolutely. And now, to round out the National League, we move to the East, where I'm really curious to hear your prediction because I think it'll probably be better than mine.
You want to know what I've got for you?
What do you got?
Watch out for the Marlins.
Ooh, elaborate on that.
They made some good offseason moves. I mean, Avi Garcia going out there, good power bat and good right fielder. And they have such good young talent, Jazz Chisholm, and then is it Trevor Tyler, one of the twins, whichever twin is there, who almost won Rookie of the Year last year and so got beat out by Jonathan India. They have the pitching. Their offense can come around at times. And I think they could shock everyone this year like they did during that COVID season, that 60-game shortened season.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's probably a pretty good prediction. I'm kind of stunned that none of us are going with the defending world champion Atlanta Braves. I've got to tell you, my prediction for the East, the New York Mets. Meet the Mets, step right up and greet the Mets. I don't know what Steve Cohen is doing in that front office, but let me tell you, I'm here for it. I think he's turning into the Jerry Jones of Major League Baseball. I think he's a mad scientist up there, throwing money out, tweeting. I know that they've got a lot of their big name players starting the year on the injured list.
Yeah, do you think a hot start is important for them, or do you think they have to pull it together at the end? Because if it's a hot start, that ain't happening.
It's not happening. I don't know. This division is so close. I don't know how you pick anyone in it, but I still think that the Mets, I like chaos, and the Mets are incredibly chaotic.
Yes, they are, especially with DeGrom on 60-day and then Scherzer just sitting there.
Yeah, but hey, good things happen in Flushing. Now on to the junior circuit, the American League. We start in the AL West, and I got to tell you, I think this is Seattle's year. I'm going with the Mariners all the way.
I wouldn't be shocked at the Mariners. They're probably up there for me. But one of the teams that might, I'm going with a lot of shock factor here, and a team that might shock everyone is the Rangers. Sure, they don't have the pitching, but that offense is going to be electric this year. I mean, Adolis Garcia showed out in his first full year in the majors, and then you add Corey Seager, and I can't think of the other name that they signed that lucrative deal they're showing out. I think their offense could shock a lot of people, and their stadium's pretty friendly for hitters. So I think that offense might carry them to that division title.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see your point. They've got that beautiful new ballpark down in Arlington. Those great new uniforms, especially that powder blue.
Powder blue is a classic.
It's supreme. But I don't know. I definitely think that this is going to be. I think this could be another close division. The Rangers could definitely challenge. Of course, you've got the Angels with Ohtani and Trout. You can never count them out. The Astros are still pretty good despite losing a lot of their stars. The only team that you can really count out is the Oakland Athletics, who have decided that they don't like spending money anymore.
And shipped off everyone that they could have spent money on.
Yeah, they're essentially fielding a AAA team this season.
Yeah, Sean Manaea, Matt Olson.
It's really unfortunate for the fans in Oakland who have just had to endure gut punch after gut punch in that city.
Hey, who knows? Moneyball might work out this year.
You keep your fingers crossed, maybe. And now we get to the AL Central, which might seem pretty cut and dry. Justin, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
I think there's only two teams that could win this right now, and it's the Twins and the White Sox. With that Correa addition to the Twins, that bolsters their offense so much to what it was last year, where they were struggling to get any runs they could. I think that the Twins and the White Sox will be battling out down to the wire for that central lead, and I still think the White Sox will just barely squeeze out, even with that Kimbrel offload too.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's really who they thought it was going to be at the beginning of last season. The White Sox kind of walked away with it because the Twins just imploded.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest with you, I don't really see the Twins coming back from that. I kind of see them kind of dwelling third or fourth in that division this year. But I have a lot of concerns about who you would think would be the favorite, the Chicago White Sox. My concern mainly lies with manager Tony La Russa. We saw it a bunch last year with him butting heads with young stars Eloy Jimenez and Tim Anderson. I don't think that if you've got a guy in his mid-70s who's all old-timey baseball, I don't think that he is somebody who is capable of leading a championship team or even a division championship team here in 2022. I think that team's going to endure some internal struggles, and in their place at the top of the AL Central, believe it or not, the Detroit Tigers. I'm calling it right now. Now, do I think that this has any possibility of happening in the real world? Absolutely not. But, my grandmother was a scout for the Tigers. I don't know. I feel like they've got as good of a chance as anybody not in Chicago. Why not? I don't really think that the Tigers are going to win the division, but I've got a good feeling that it won't be the White Sox.
I feel like you just ran MLB The Show simulations and you traded like Mike Trout to the Tigers and you're like, this'll do, and that's how you picked your team here.
That might be what it takes. I don't know about that. I mean, but you look elsewhere in the division. The Twins were pretty abysmal last year. The Royals are always going to be mediocre no matter what year it is, if it's 2022 or 3022.
Even with the call-up of Bobby Witt Jr., one of the top prospects?
Even then, they play in Kansas City. They had that one good season when we were growing up, And the Guardians, I mean, they've got the potential, but they really don't have much. They've lost a lot of their big names, so why not Detroit? Give Miggy one big last ride.
The issue with Detroit is I don't think they have the offense to do it.
Yeah.
Their offense is so stagnant. They have the pitching to do it, sure. I mean, Matt Boyd can throw the lights out when he wants to. It's that offense that worries me.
Yeah. Well, there are 162 games, and that's why they play them. Lastly now, we'll move on to the AL East, and this one, it's pretty closed up, isn't it?
there's a 4-horse race.
Ooh, you think so?
Yeah, there's a 4-horse race. Orioles being left in the dust.
Well, yeah.
I think this could go to any one of the 4 of the Jays, Red Sox, Yankees, Rays. I think this is going to be the closest fight. It's going to be like the NL West last year where there were three teams battling to try and make a playoff push, and one might trail off at the end, which if I were to guess, it would probably be the Red Sox to trail off at the end. But the Rays system just works.
It does.
It just pumps and pumps and pumps, and we've seen that for the last 4 years. We're like counting out the Rays and being like, oh, they aren't going to be good this year. They didn't bring anything in. They didn't ship anything off. It's just the same team. They didn't make any steps forward like everyone else. I think the Rays sneak away with this one again.
It's hard to disagree with you. You said it yourself. That system works. I really feel like they really deserved the World Series a couple of years ago when they lost to the Dodgers back in 2020. But I don't know. I'm really not sure that this division's going to be as close as you say it is. I've got some serious concerns about the Red Sox. The Yankees are falling a little flat in my mind. The Rays, they're really good. I think that they could challenge. But for me, I think it's Toronto. But I'm really not sure why. I know that they won the division last year.
I know why.
No, you don't know where I'm getting at. I know that they won the division last year, and I know that they've got a bunch of players who have turned into great stars and great players for them. Not leaving out, of course, MVP Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But here's the thing: I'm really uneasy about this pick because my dad is a season ticket holder for the Buffalo Bisons, their AAA affiliate. So over the summers growing up, I watched all these guys on the roster, and they were stiffs in Buffalo. They didn't do anything. They always finished like 7th in the International League. So, like, I don't know what I'm thinking picking the Jays. I know these guys.
I think you're being a homer here. That's what's happening. You're being hopeful.
No, I think it's just that I hate the Yankees.
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, Justin, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on and talking some baseball.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to have you back real soon here.
Yeah, I hope to be back.
Absolutely. And to close out tonight's show, we'd like to bring you the results of the 2nd annual TV10 March Madness bracket pool. Congratulations are in order to Creative Director Aaron Forsland for winning first place. Lee Quinnett, the host of Handful, finished in 2nd, while our production director Joel Conte took home the bronze. As for me, our station's sports director, I finished in 8th. 1 point out of last place. It's a good thing we didn't put any money on it. Well, I've done all the damage I can do here. To find more episodes of Blue Nation and other great TV10 content, visit us at mytv10.uwec.edu. For the rest of us here at the studio, I'm Noah Schwartz. Good night, everybody.